Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Monday! Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you had the best weekend. Let's get into the stories. Am I the asshole for not calling my oldest daughter a princess? I, 37 male, have 3 daughters, ages 15, 6, and 5. Holy fuck. 15, 6, and 5. Okay. We'll call my 15-year-old Taylor. I had Taylor with my college girlfriend. We broke up when Taylor was just a baby, under a year old. We co-parented well together. Now that Taylor is older, she comes here when she wants, but primarily stays with her mom since she's closer to her school/friends. I got married to my now wife 8 years ago. We now have 2 daughters together. Taylor's always gotten along really great with my wife and her little sisters. That's amazing. I love that. There's another story, I believe, that we're going to talk about, and it's kind of about like commingling friends, or not friends, children. And I'm really interested to talk about it because unless you're in those situations, like it's hard to imagine what somebody would do, but we'll get into that later. Anywho, okay. Me, my wife, and all 3 girls went to Disney World for a few days. Taylor has always been a huge Belle fan. First day at Disney, I had some work to do, so I got up early and got ready and went to the lobby while the girls got ready. When I went back up to the room, my youngest 2 were dressed in princess dresses and crowns, while my oldest had on a very, what I would call, Belle-themed outfit. When I saw the younger 2, I said, "You 2 look just like princesses." My youngest asked, "What about Taylor?" And I will add, Taylor in the last few years has been over the cute pet names. So I said, "I think Taylor is a little too old to be a princess, but she's very pretty." Taylor said thanks, but sounded a little off. I didn't think anything of it. Okay, wait. Let's back up. I said, "You 2 look just like princesses." My youngest asked, "What about Taylor?" And I might add, Taylor in the last few years has been over the cute pet names. So I said, "I think Taylor is a little too old to be a princess, but she's very pretty," which, number one, aren't princesses grown? I mean, I understand we're talking about like imaginary, like fake fiction things, but like, aren't all the princesses in the Disney movies like, probably in their teens or 20s? That's a little odd to say. But like, I also, from what he's saying, he said that Taylor is over like the pet name. So like, would she want to be called princess? Maybe not. But it's also like Taylor didn't even ask for that. It was like the little girl who said it. So you could also just be like, yeah, she looks like a princess as well. I don't know. Kind of either way, it's weird potentially. Not weird. I mean, it's your dad, but like, what are we even talking about? This is like so silly, but let's keep going. We had a good day. Taylor was distant with me, but having fun with my wife and her sisters. I figured I would ask her when we got back to the hotel. Well, I got a long, angry text from my ex-wife saying Taylor had texted her that I called her sisters princesses, but not her. She also said that I said she was too old to be a princess, and that really hurt her feelings, I guess. I reminded my ex that Taylor has hated cute pet names for years now. My ex said, considering we're at Disney and Taylor was in a Belle-themed outfit, I should have thought that she might have wanted to be a princess for the day. My ex said I was being an oblivious asshole. I tried talking to Taylor, but she doesn't want to talk about it and hasn't talked to me much since. My wife thinks I could have handled the situation better and made it up to Taylor. I don't think assuming my teenage daughter wouldn't want to be called a princess is being an asshole. I mean, unfortunately, I agree with him, and a lot of you probably won't agree with that, but like, I understand the predicament he's in, and you guys, like, we have to remember, and like, I'm not here to talk about feminism and sexism, but like, he is a man, and my father, and a lot of you probably will not relate to this, my father said I had thunder thighs. Like when he would notice my scalp was dry, he would point out in front of everybody my like flakes from my scalp. Like, and it wasn't intentionally mean. Like, is it still not okay? Sure. But like men just like really have a different brain. Like that to me, like what my dad did, and like I don't give a shit anymore. Of course, like I was embarrassed at the time, but like now I'm like, who gives a shit? Right? Like he didn't mean it intentionally. He's literally just like a bozo single dad who like doesn't know that girls have like more emotions and feelings than men. But this, like, I can understand how he went from A to B. Like he said she hasn't been liking the pet names, and like she was wearing like a Belle themed outfit, but like she wasn't dressed up as Belle. So like it's not like she literally looked like a princess. I mean, again, we're talking about semantics here, and maybe I'm not the right person. This is why I fear, well, number one, I think that God is going to give me girl children because number one, I really want boys, but number two, because I think it's what I need. But I am scared that if I have daughters, I'm going to be like really bad at being a mom to daughters, because I feel since I was raised by my father, and I oftentimes, I don't think like a man, but I typically resonate more. Like I agree with the man in this instance. You know what I mean? Whereas like a lot of women out there are more sensitive and in their feelings. Like I just was not raised to be that way. And therefore I think I'm scared about being a mom because I won't understand like a girl's big feelings. Well, this is like Nanny Girl. When I nannied, like she was a very sensitive, emotional girl. And I was always like, what are we freaking out about? I just like can't really relate, which of course it'll all work itself out. But that's hilarious. And she's a girl. Like, I'm not ever going to blame the little 16-year-old girl. She's a child, but she like texted her mom saying that dad, I mean, it was what happened. I feel like it's a little out of context. And I feel like his current wife saying that he didn't handle it great. Again, we're talking about like just a quick comment. I feel like this is like really getting blown up, but I think like it is odd. Again, though, this is like a man brain that he said she's too old to be a princess, because again, I'm just thinking like the princesses in the Disney movies are like probably roughly like they're young women. I feel like, I guess, I don't really know, but yeah, I mean, could he have just like not said that? Sure. But like what's done is done. I don't think it's the end of the world. I mean, I feel bad that his daughter, it hurt her feelings, but this will all just like get brushed over. I feel like it's not that big of a deal. Okay, next. Am I the asshole for saying I'd end a relationship if my kid didn't like my partner's kid when my brother asked me what I'd do in his shoes? This is the story I was talking about. I like to think about like these things where I can't even imagine what I would do. My brother is a single dad with a 9-year-old son. My nephew's mom is not in the picture. For the last 3 years, my brother has been dating Kayla, and for the last 2 years, my brother and Kayla have introduced their sons, hers is also 9 years old, to each other, and they spend time as a group. The boys do not like each other, and my brother has told me that both of them complain and try to get out of spending time together. The first time they met, it was at a kids' play center, and within 10 minutes, the boys were playing with different groups of friends. The second time they went to see a movie, and Kayla's son moved seats to sit next to his friend. The third time, my nephew went to listen to a different story time, but in the same library, obviously. Other times they brought them to the amusement park 20 minutes from my brother's house, and they chose to go on different rides to each other. And when they went on the same one, they chose to be in different rows or carts. The story obviously continues, but I'm going to give my initial reaction. This is going to be tough for children. Here is the thing, and as we get into it, and as I read the comments, I'm understanding the complexities, but as a child who was raised by my father, and I've told you guys, he dated a woman who had a son, and he was quite a few years older than us, like at least 6, somewhere from like 6 to 8 years older than us. And they lived with us. Like my dad started dating this woman. I don't remember obviously meeting Taylor. I used to call him my stepbrother because they lived with us for a really long time, like quite a few years, I would say. Okay, my parents got divorced when I was 2. Taylor and Donna came into the picture probably somewhere in my late single digits. I don't remember exactly. And then in my early teens, she moved out and they had broken up, and then that was that. But like, it's so hard. Let me just wait actually until we get into it. Here's the thing, like 2 children can just not get along. Like this is similar to like, let's say that me and my best friend Natalie have kids at the same time. Let's say we have 2 boys. What if they don't like each other? That stinks. Am I not going to be friends with Natalie? No. Am I maybe going to force them to just like, they don't have to play together, but like I'm going to go see my friend Natalie, and if you don't get along, you two don't get along, that sucks. Actually, Carter talks about this. His parents, because they were in the Mormon community, all of their friends were from the church, and like their friends had 1 million kids, and they had, however many kids, and they would take them up to the lake house in Montana or just do a bunch of hangouts. And Carter's like, I didn't enjoy some of these kids, but like our parents were friends, and that was that. Like you just suck it up. And I feel, again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me continue and then we'll discuss. When they've spent time at each other's houses, they do their own thing. When they play games together, they want to partner with their parents and not each other. And when they were forced to, it ended in them fighting and refusing to play. They have attended each other's birthday parties, and there were no interactions beyond forced ones. My brother and Kayla tried to plan a sleepover and were left with 2 kids who did not want to hang out with each other. If they can avoid it, they won't sit next to or across from each other at meals. Okay, they're just giving a bunch of examples. I feel like I'm not reading these as complete sentences. I'm like waiting for it to get juicy, but they just keep giving me reasons. I get it. The 9-year-olds are not enjoying each other, right? Which they're 9-year-old kids. I mean, also, it is being forced upon them, but it is also your life. This is a tricky dynamic, but we do need to remember that kids are kids, and kids can warm up to one another or they might never get along, but it's like they are children at the end of the day. I don't know. Okay, let me keep going. My brother and Kayla wanted to move in together and get married, but the boys are still avoiding each other and not getting along. Both say that they don't like the other, and I'm not sure if the reasons were asked or given, but neither of them were okay with the idea of the 4 of them living together. My brother said Kayla wants to try living together and making it work, but he's not sure, and he's worried he could lose my nephew to the decision eventually, or that it will hurt their relationship. He asked me what I'd do, and I said I would end a relationship if my kid and their kid could not get along. I said siblings fighting is normal, but these boys aren't siblings yet, and when there are no good moments or moments when they want to or are okay with being around each other, it seems like a recipe for disaster. Our mom told me not to discourage my brother and that things like this can be worked on. She told me when my brother left that I should have just supported him. Am I the asshole? Here's the thing. I understand. Okay, number one, he's not the asshole. Like, that is his opinion. He is free to have that, and that's it. He is not the asshole. But I want to talk about the dynamic itself. I go back and forth because then I started reading comments. Let me read a few. Not the asshole. Truly, if he listens to you, he might save his relationship with his son because another partner can be found, but not another son. Not the asshole. He was asking how you would handle it. You're giving your feelings on the matter after he asked for them. I don't know if it would help anything at this point, but have they considered family counseling? With the state of their various relationships, they should go see a professional before making major decisions and changes. That's actually a wonderful decision. or advice. Wait, let me keep going. You work on things before you upend your children's lives, not after you've moved in against their wishes. These parents need to stop being selfish and actually talk to their kids. Your mom is a fool. Someone needs to advocate for the kids. That's the parents' jobs, but they're not doing it. Here's where I'm like really conflicted. I think because gentle parenting has become such a big thing, and I promise I'm going to tie this into this conversation. I feel like a lot of adults these days cater so far to their children's wants and needs, and don't fucking lose your minds. I want to listen and hear and understand a child's feelings, but I think we forget that children are so resilient and they are so malleable and they are strong, and like children also need to be told that like this is happening, and like if it's not, you know, hurting them, it's not like and one would argue that this could hurt them. And here's the thing, a lot of things in life, like we don't even realize in the moment that it's going to have a negative effect until it's too late. Like, how are we to know? But like, think about me as a kid. I don't remember, but this is what it was with my dad. My dad told me what was happening, and my dad never put me in a position that was harmful. Like, were we best friends with Taylor? No, he was like 6 years older than us. He was a little bit weird. He had different interests. He was like, it was fine. And again, like we got used to one another. We ended up playing video games together. I'm sure it was awkward at first. And I don't know what it was like for my brother, but my dad was dating this woman. They moved in, and that was that. Like kids learn and adapt quickly. And again, I'm not saying if it's like an evil, horrible thing that's like clearly affecting the child, but I also think that like adults need to live their lives. Like I've seen firsthand, not with an instance like this, but where like parents hold their children's opinions and like what they want and their likes and dislikes so highly that they base everything off of the child. And it's like, that is a child. Like their emotions and things change with the wind. Like you can tell your child that this is this. Like I believe that children need to be told no, and that certain things like you decide and that's that. And this is like a bigger thing, but I do believe, because I lived it, it's similar to like my mom marrying my stepdad. Like I didn't enjoy that man. Was I going to sit and cry to my mom? And like, I'm sure some kids have done that, but it's like, no, that was the decision and that was my mom's life. And like, we were children and we just adapted. It was what it was. And like, it's fine. I'm a full blown adult and had all of these things happen as a child, and I'm fine. Right. And I think that your kids are important, and especially when you're a single parent, I get that. But I also think, like, I know of single parents who do everything to not ruffle their children's feathers, and they put their life on the back burner. And again, I don't think that people should put significant others over their children, but you also do need to prioritize yourself. I'm going to talk more. Oh my gosh, I will have talked about on Friday this woman that I met at the influencer event. She is now a single mom with full custody. The dad wanted nothing to do with the kids. 2 girls, they're like 6 and 4, and she dates. She gets a babysitter. She goes on dates. She talks to the girls. Obviously, they're very young, about the dates and like what happens. And like, I think that's a really great thing. Like, she needs to also take care of herself. And also in the long run, I think you shouldn't need a partner and whatnot, but I think it would be safe to say that the best family dynamic would be to have, well, 2 parents, but like 1 million people as a village. And the overall good, like if the relationship itself is good and you are happy and this is a healthy relationship, I'm talking about the 2 from the story, I think that those 2 being together and being able to work as a family unit could be a greater benefit than the boys just like not getting along right now. Like they're 9-year-old boys. Like they maybe have different interests. Like who knows? But like kids, they'll get used to one another. Again, I don't get it because I'm not a single parent and I don't have kids, but it's kind of like the conversation, and I've made TikToks about this, where I believe, and this is just a personal opinion and people disagree left, right, and center, but like when it comes to a relationship, I think for wife and husband, or wife and wife, husband and husband, I think your partner comes first, then your kids, then your immediate family. It's like the conversation where the interviewers, I've talked about this a million times, where they asked men, they're like, rank your wife, your kids, and your mom. And they would go, mom, kids, wife. And it's like, what the fuck are we talking about? I just firmly believe that your relationship, and again, this isn't the child's parents, but like, I think that having a good relationship with the parents of your child, obviously, but then if you're a single parent, your future partner is important, because like you need to fill your own cup. Like if you're a single parent who's just single parenting and all you do is like wait on your child hand and foot, which like, again, I sound like so logical and so cynical and so like, I don't mean it like, I mean it, but like you guys will understand. I think you also have to fill your own cup. And I think for a lot of people, that's like a relationship. And I think that oftentimes, and this is just going to be the state of the union, people who are single parents, I think more than not, I would say, probably are going to find a partner that also has children. I think that because of the age, I'm sure they're both in their 30s. Like there's a lot of things that play into that. I think they also can relate to one another. I think that as we get older in general, that people probably have had kids or been married. Like as you get into your 30s and 40s, if you're dating, I think you would have a hard time finding somebody who's completely single and has been single since they were 20. Like the odds of them having kids is just like higher. Therefore, like what, you're going to break up with this person who, if you have a really good relationship with, that sucks because the sons don't get along, but like you're going to then go out and date and then they're probably going to have kids. They might even have multiple kids. They might have like a demon child, and then that's not going to work. Like, is your son going to always not like the person? Like that's the thing. They're kids. Like, I don't know. I just think that, of course, I'm really selfish and I can't think in that brain because I don't have a child, but like, I think that that can be worked out. Like, it's not that crazy to assume. I think for a 9-year-old, it's weird. It's different. Like, I remember being a junior in high school when my dad told me he was dating Pam, who he's still with now. And like, I had weird feelings about it then for no good reason other than it's different. Like my dad dated this woman who lived with us until my early teens. Then he was single. And now this other person's going to come into our life. You don't know what that looks like, especially for a young child. Like it's all just like different and new. And that's scary for a child. And therefore, I think they're just going to resist in general. But again, this is just my personal experience. I think everybody has different opinions, whether you've been through something similar or not. I don't disagree though. Like I understand that if these kids are deeply unhappy and they don't like one another, but I also think that like kids are kids and they'll get over it. And even if they don't get along, it's not like we were best friends with my dad's Taylor, my older brother. Like we played video games. He was way older. He went to a different school. Like he was gone at certain times because I think he went to his dad's. Like it's just the dynamic. Like I don't know. I just don't think that it's that crazy. And I think that you're going to be in this circumstance no matter what. I think in my opinion, what really matters is if this is a good and healthy relationship, because if it's a good, solid relationship and you literally could see yourself marrying this person, like that, I don't think you should just throw away because your 9-year-old boys are not like best friends right now. You know what I mean? Those are just my thoughts. Okay, next. Am I the asshole for blocking my friend of 10 years after she committed a HIPAA violation against me? I, 23 female, blocked my longtime friend A, 23 female, of 10 years after she used her work computer to look up my health insurance information without my consent. The worst part is she took a photo of it, sent it through messages, which her boyfriend of 1 year has access to. Some context. From my POV, her boyfriend is leeching off of her. She spent thousands of dollars on dates, including a motorcycle that was impounded by police because he didn't bother getting his license or permit. He has used her credit card to buy drugs. He has driven her car while intoxicated and uses everything she owns, including her laptop that he uses to read all of her private conversations. I fear he is isolating her from everyone around her, and it's working. When I saw the photo, she laughed it off, and I was scared but pissed. I asked her why she would do that, and she said she was just curious. I asked her how stupid she could be, not knowing what HIPAA was if she works at a doctor's clinic. She never responded and left me on red. I assumed to go run to our other friend, B. No real apology or accountability, and after 2 weeks, I blocked her. I confided in B and C about the situation. C was incredibly understanding, not understanding what possessed A to do this. B, on the other hand, loves to play the devil's advocate and has always had animosity towards me. B said that A only had good intentions and that she was only being playful and trying to connect with me as a friend. I found that to be bullshit and explained that if A wanted to connect with me, she could have been an adult and communicated with me, asking for permission before risking her job, committing a HIPAA violation, and possibly leaking my information. I told B, what if my social security number was on there? And what if A's boyfriend saw it as an opportunity to take credit cards out in my name? Oh, fuck. It's all fucked up. Sorry, I haven't even stopped to comment. That is crazy. You work at a doctor's office and for fun, you look up your friend's name and take a photo of their health insurance information. Like, if that is not the most immature thing I've ever heard in my life, and obviously illegal, oh my gosh. But the whole boyfriend aspect, I was confused at first, like why that was relevant, but that makes perfect sense. He goes through her messages, and number one, just like knowing that information about you and seeing that is like such an invasion of privacy on both ends, the boyfriend, but also your friend. But she's so right. What if the social security number, God knows what, like this person, this boyfriend is not a good person? Oh my gosh, that would be horrible. And it's just, again, to the very beginning, it's inappropriate and immature and illegal, might I add. Days pass and B wants to hang out. I agree, but I informed her that I had blocked A and that we were no longer friends. I told her that she and C were welcome to stay friends with A, but that I want to hang out separately. B leaves me on red and doesn't reply for days. When she does, she responds along the lines of, I'm sorry that I hurt you, but that if you didn't want my opinion, you should have said so, and next time I'll keep it to myself. It's clear we both have very different opinions on things. What? I don't know. It felt like she was pushing the blame back to me instead of taking accountability. What the fuck? I'm sorry that I hurt you, but that if you didn't want to hear my opinion, this has nothing to do with the opinion. Well, it kind of does, because how do you not agree that her violating HIPAA is inappropriate, immature, and irresponsible, and again, might I add, illegal? Oh my gosh, you need to dump all of these friends, because what are we even talking about? This week, C and I were supposed to hang out. She flaked the first day, claiming that she took an extra shift, but then ghosted me completely the second time. After a few days, she apologized and asked if I'm free this weekend. I said, it depends. Have you heard from B? She replied, yeah, I went out with her yesterday. Why? Did you want to do something with all of us together? Wait, so you saw, oh yeah. This is one of those things when you realize that your friends aren't really your friends because you've been trying to make plans with her, but then she was hanging out with the other friend yesterday. Well, and I think in general, this situation is tricky. Like when you're in a friend group or you have friends that are all friends and then something happens like this, it's just hard for everybody to keep it moving as normal because it's not normal. And like nobody wants to hang out with somebody and then have to tiptoe about somebody else, or like what if they're talking shit? Like I feel these things never really work out. It just is uncomfortable for so many different reasons. I realized that B, who had mentioned in her apology text that C mentioned a jewelry stand that we should all go to, had gone with C to that same stand the day C and I were supposed to hang out. After B dropped C off, she texted me with the apology message. I've been trying to spend time with both, only to be ghosted and left behind. I feel like they used the opportunity to discuss things behind my back. Well, 100% that's what they did. And I'm not blaming them. I mean, I think it is shitty, but like, I get it. It is like a really uncomfortable position for all of the reasons I just stated. Like, you have this other friend. Like, I think 1000% friend A, I know that the letters are really confusing, is in the wrong. Like, her doing that in the first place is so inappropriate, but like, this was the crack in the foundation, and now everything's crumbling because like they have to pick sides, but they don't want to, because I'm sure they do like you both, but it's like impossible to have friends that hate each other. Like, it's just hard to do. Now I feel like I'm being iced out. I'm starting to feel like they're planning some intervention or ambush to get me to forgive A. The trust is gone and I feel hurt. I've tried being honest and setting boundaries, but now I'm wondering if I'm being excluded for standing up for myself. Now I'm wondering, am I the asshole for blocking A over this? And will I be the asshole if I distance myself from B and C too? Any thoughts? No, not the asshole. No, fuck your friends. They are fake. It was wrong of A to do that in the first place. And honestly, you should report her to HIPAA or her workplace for violating HIPAA, because that is wildly inappropriate, and to protect others from potentially being put in this situation. Because like she said, the social security number thing, what if she sent a different person their information? Or what if she sent something like that? Is not okay. And also, as just like a human being in the same world that you're living in, it does not make me feel good that there are people out there that are reckless and doing shit like this in the first place. But also, I think the friendship is just naturally going to die out, because they have made it clear, whether they're choosing sides, like maybe they're not, but it's hard when you've been wronged by somebody to understand people taking their side. It's one of those things, like if I didn't like somebody but I told my best friend Natalie, like, you can still be friends with them if we were all mutual friends, it is going to, whether I'm trying to or not, I feel like naturally as human beings we all take things personally, and it just gets awkward. Like, yeah, you can be friends with them, but it's like, this person wronged me. Like, I don't know. It's just tricky and messy. I think I would distance myself. I would report A to her workplace, and that would be it. Okay, next. Am I the asshole for eating most of my wife's birthday cake? I thought that this would be like a fun one to throw in the mix. My wife, 32 female, and I, 35 male, were recently on vacation over the 4th of July, which also happens to be my wife's birthday. We had all the normal traditions for our family, including cake. We all had a piece day of, but almost nobody ate the cake the entire rest of the trip. When the time came to return home, my in-laws, the mother-in-law who made the cake, offered to send the whole thing with us because they didn't need all that and we will probably just throw it away anyway. My wife absolutely hates food waste, so she brought it. The journey home was 2 days by car. It has since been 2 additional days since we got back. Each night after dinner, I've had a reasonably sized piece of cake for dessert. I used to be a bigger guy, and while I have much better habits now, I still have a soft spot for baked goods. The cake was budgeted for, in parentheses or quotations, though, and I had been looking forward to eating a little. Well, today my wife saw that there was only one slice left and was irate, saying I was completely selfish and had eaten almost all of her cake. I told her the cake had been available to all for nearly a week, counting the days it sat on the counter before we took it home with us, and that nobody had bothered to touch it but me. I did apologize after she finished explaining to me that it upset her, but I don't understand why it's such a big deal to begin with. The cake was right there. She never even had a bite. I'm Team Man again. I'm on his side because like it was there and she knew it was there and she could have been eating it that whole time and like he's been eating it and she probably noticed. Like unless you're not paying attention to your husband at all, I mean like I get it. It's kind of everybody has different birthday traditions, but like similar to when it's been Carter's birthday or my birthday, like the cake just sits in the fridge. Like after the day, yeah, of course. Like let's say that somebody had a birthday and they didn't get a slice on their own birthday. That would be cruel and wicked and not okay. But like everybody ate and then it sat there for forever. Like it's her cake. I mean, that seems a little aggressive to me. Unless that's like the family rule. Like we make the person a birthday cake and it's their cake. It's for nobody else. Unless those like rules are explicitly said, like it's sitting in the fridge or it's sitting on the counter, like everybody's available to have a bite. Is she pregnant? I feel like this might be like hormonal rage or just like rage in general from being a woman. Maybe her period is coming, because I could understand, like I rage about anything and everything at random times. Like I was upset this morning and I don't even know why, but I'm kind of on his side. Like it was there. You knew it was there. You offered to take it. I've just been eating it. It's going to go bad. I mean, it's been a freaking week already. I don't know. I think it just probably happened at the wrong time. You know, like she is not in a good mood and she just came unglued over it. For additional context, in the past, she has requested that certain foods be saved for her as leftovers, etc. I've obliged only for that food to sit until it had become moldy, and she claims she forgot it was there. Oops. For someone who hates food waste, allegedly, I find this behavior doubly puzzling. Was I wrong here? Nope. And yeah, I'm a person who hates food waste. I would never let food go moldy. Like, if you claim to care, or I guess you can claim to care, but I don't think she really cares, because if you have this true mental illness like I do, because I am this way, like food being thrown away literally kills a part of my soul. I never let it happen. Like I will do anything in my power to eat everything before it's gone. I will overstuff myself. And also, did she say, but then it's like, eat it. Like the cake is going to go bad. I think this just is like a wrong place and wrong time. I feel like she's in a bad mood and now is taking it out over the cake. You know what I mean? Okay, but there are edits, because I think this one was labeled as he is the asshole. Like when there's enough comments on the Am I the Asshole, the actual page, it'll have these like little tabs and like it'll say everyone sucks, or it'll say asshole, or it will say not asshole. There's a few of them, but I think they go through the comments and determine like what everybody's saying, and then like the majority, that's what they put on it. So clearly this one, they said he is the asshole, and that means that everybody in the comments thinks he's the asshole, and therefore these edits, I'm sure he's going to be explaining himself, because that's what always happens. It isn't, nor has ever been, a my cake or your cake situation in our family. It's just the cake to be shared. There has never been an expectation beyond making sure the birthday person gets the first slice. After that, it's just a regular old cake, which I feel like is like normal family behavior. That's how I've known everybody to be. The courtesy some are relaying is to simply ask if she wanted a slice while I'm serving myself. In our home, this has never been a consistent thing. It does happen, but it's not an expectation and doesn't happen every time. Desserts are just understood to be periodically available, and if you want some, it's there. Different rules for small children notwithstanding. Finally, we ate some on the drive. I don't know why people exclude those 2 days from when the cake was available. Obviously, we didn't drive 48 hours straight without sustenance, and the first night we obviously had to park and rest somewhere. And besides that, we were home for dinner on the second day as well. Update number 2. I have decided to simply bake her the exact same cake in a smaller tin just for her. It will be her cake and nobody else will touch it. If it gets wasted, so be it. I hate the waste, but it's not worth the division. And then update number 3. The remade cake was much appreciated. She has yet to take a single bite. Not going to track progress. The cake was made as an apology, not to test the theory. This is the final update. Oh my gosh, and she's still not eating it. Like, what? Yeah, I'm team him. He's not the asshole. It's a birthday cake. Like, it's been there. You know that. I agree. Unless, like, this is the same here. Like, when we've had birthday cakes, I mean, maybe I think because we do it that way, we don't feel as bad about eating the cake in general. But like Carter would be like, do you want a slice? And especially when it's down to like the last piece, right? You're like, okay, last piece of cake. Like, who wants it? But also, I think if I saw that Carter had not been eating it, like, I might take it as well. Yeah, I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. It is what it is. I don't think he's the asshole. And that's my opinion. Okay, next. Last but not least, am I the asshole for donating my roommate's family heirloom to Goodwill? I've 22 female posted here about my roommate 24 female before. She has always had issues contributing to the household, including buying things like toilet paper, dish soap, laundry detergent, etc. She also rarely does her dishes promptly or takes out the trash or other household chores and struggles to pay utilities on time. Sometimes I even have to hound her for the rent. I felt bad at first because clearly she wasn't equipped to live alone, but I quickly got frustrated and became short with her. We were friends at first, but not so much anymore after I've had to put up with her for this long. God damn, having a shitty roommate. That is something that honestly is so life-changing, and it sucks in the moment, but I feel like it teaches us so much about living by ourselves, living with people. Other people were raised different ways. Like, you really kind of learn how different everybody is. And I don't know, like, let me go over. I go to college. I live in the dorm. I live in a 1-bed, like a little fucking room with 2 beds with my roommate, Bridget, who was amazing. I loved her. She was amazing. Honestly, I was probably the shitty roommate in that circumstance, even though I don't think I'm shitty. Like, she was perfect. Then I move in with the girl who I knew from my high school, who was a year older than me. And she was the nightmare who went through my journal and is crazy. And that was that. Lived with her for a year. Then I moved out. I moved into a house with 3 girls. I was on the top floor with my very good friend Cassidy, and then the other 2 girls were downstairs, but like one of the girls that like was so fucking dirty. I swear the living room was upstairs. There were me and Cassidy's room and a bathroom. There was a kitchen and a dining room, and then downstairs were just their 2 rooms, and they were huge. I'm talking, their rooms were like 900 square feet each. Like, they were the biggest rooms you had ever seen. Because think about that. Upstairs were me and Cassidy's room, the bathroom, a little hallway, the living room, the dining room, and then the kitchen downstairs. So that's the top floor plan, all of that. So the downstairs were only these 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. So like all of that space that was upstairs, I got the smallest room. We ended up picking names or letters or numbers out of a hat, and I got to pay the least amount of rent because I had the smallest room. My room was tiny, but I didn't even care at the time. This started my love, honestly, for studios, but I had the smallest room, and then I think it was Cassidy's, and then Hannah and Jordan, they decided or couldn't determine whose was bigger. One of them thought that theirs wasn't the biggest, and I'm pretty sure it was, but like regardless, they were both big. It didn't fucking matter. But one of the girls with the biggest rooms downstairs always had her shit in the living room, like her books and her backpack and like all sorts of shit. She was so dirty and messy, which it was fine. Like honestly, I don't really care that much, because I had just moved out of the roommate who was like horrible and I had to share a bathroom with her. Like really, I was working all the time in college anyways, and therefore it didn't really matter. However, then I moved into a studio and that was amazing. And then I moved to Dallas, lived in that Airbnb. Then I had the roommate Nicole, and then, which was great, and then I've lived by myself. But you just like learn so much about yourself, and like I think it's also helpful for a future partner, because there are just like certain things, like again, I don't remember exactly like more things right now that were so upsetting about the one roommate, but like there are just things that you're chill with and not chill with, and you learn that very quickly. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I just went on a tangent. Our year-long lease ended, and we have been living month to month since then. Eventually, she got a boyfriend. He lives with his parents, but that hasn't stopped her from spending most of her time at their house. I started seeing her less and less. A couple days into May, I hadn't seen her for maybe 2 weeks. I texted and called her to see when she was going to pay her share of the rent. It was due on the 5th, but she basically ghosted me. I got in contact with her mom, and eventually my roommate reached out to say she's staying with her boyfriend's family for now and doesn't think she should be expected to pay rent for somewhere she's not staying. Where do people get off? Like there are ways of living that like don't make sense to me, but I don't know how people were raised, but like signing a lease and agreeing to pay your fair share of the rent and knowing that if you don't pay your rent, that's going to affect that other person and fall on them is like so fucked up. Like what are we even talking about? Oh my gosh. I kindly asked if that meant she was moving out, but she didn't respond. I paid rent myself, which was a huge unexpected expense. After that, I decided I was done. I texted her over the course of May and June asking her to move her stuff out, but she didn't respond to me. Her mom kept promising me that her daughter would take care of it, but she never once got back to me. After July started, I recruited a couple of friends to help me pack up the stuff in her room and donated most of it to Goodwill and the Salvation Army. I also asked the landlord to change the locks, which he did. The other evening, she finally shows up and is mad that the locks have been changed. I told her she's not living here and doesn't pay rent, so she has no reason to enter the apartment. She got even more upset and said that she was never moving out. She was just staying with him for the time being. And then you're just like gonna come back and pay rent? No, sorry, honey, this is not how life works. She told me the situation didn't work out, so she planned to come back and live here again. I told her that she was already off the lease and it's my rental now. She started crying and said she had nowhere else to go. Oh my gosh, my North Dakota came out. Sorry. She had nowhere else to go, and I felt really bad. She asked if she could at least get some of her stuff. She needed some clean clothes and a shower. I told her that because she never told me she was coming back or made plans to move her stuff out, I donated everything that was in her room unless it looked precious or expensive and stored the rest in her closet. She completely freaked out and threatened to call the police on me. She was inconsolable. She cried about how I even donated her dead grandmother's wedding dress, which had been in a special box somewhere in her room. I apologized profusely because I did feel really bad, but it all could have been avoided if she tried to communicate with me. Am I the asshole? This is honestly so hard, and I respect what you did in the first place. Like, how many months went by and she just like was not answering? Like, what is she supposed to do? Like, on one hand, yes, could the stuff have sat there? Yes, but how freaking annoying for her. Like, okay, a couple of days into May, I hadn't seen her. And then after May, June, July, 2-3 months. I mean, oh, again, we're going to be talking about semantics here. I get it. I completely get it. Like, you're not paying rent. You're not living here. You haven't come back. Like, I texted you multiple times. Like, come get your shit. I would probably do the same thing, honestly. I would be so fed up. She contacted your mother. Like, that's on you. That is 100% on you. And like, the fact that you just left and didn't pay rent and fucked this girl over and then just expected to come back. No, regardless of the situation, like, this girl would not want to live with you again anyway. Yeah, that's hard. Okay, but there's an edit. I told her by July I would start getting rid of things if she didn't make plans to do it herself. Where I live, a unit is considered abandoned once they vacate and owe rent. The cost of the items being donated will determine how long I need to store them before getting rid of them. I asked her to make arrangements for her things beginning in early May, which she ignored. I emphasized in June that I would be donating her things by July, which she also ignored. Additionally, her mother was aware the whole time and promised me her daughter would take care of it by June 30th, which she didn't. No, you did your due diligence. She literally texted and texted and texted, and she must have thought it was an empty threat. I don't really know, but that's on her. Like, from the beginning, that's so fucked up. She was a terrible roommate to begin with, which sucks. And then she's literally like, if I lived with somebody and they moved out and then just expected me to pay rent for them, like, so unexpectedly, that would make me lose my goddamn mind. That would be my last straw. And I would have, like, honestly just set her shit out in the dumpster. No, I would donate it, obviously. But like, what? No, not the asshole. Not the asshole in the slightest. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for listening. Happy Monday. I hope you guys have the best week, and I will see you on Friday. As always, enter in your stories. If you have a crazy story, I would love to include it on today's episode. I mean, I love like looking at Reddit and finding crazy stories because there's never a lack of them. But as always, like, I would love to use your guys's if you have one. But anywho, okay, you guys, thank you so much for listening. And I will see you on Friday. Okay, bye guys.